What is up, everybody? Oh man, I fucking didn't change my trailer. Hold on a second. Let me change this trailer here. Yeah, so we'll get into the countdown timer in just a sec. Let's see. Whoops. Wait. Cancel. Let's see here. Let me put on Dr. Splorchy, I guess. Just grab something quick. Okay, so yeah, so we just had a timer going there for a second, and basically what that is all about, let me see here. So Jim Hall, he sent me a message a while back saying, "Hey man, you can just have a simple timer, a simple browser timer." And that's the one that I tried, but his suggestion was you would have like this browser window. Okay, should have customized it with your colors. No, see, Jim, here's the problem I was having. I created this little countdown timer window, right? I'm going to switch to that really quick. Hold on one. Although it's not going to have won't have my voice here. But I created this countdown timer scene in OBS where it was the browser and it was pulling from that. And it would say VR game ranking starting in a few minutes, but it didn't have the timer. It was like empty. I don't know. I can't show it to you now because I just closed it. But anyway, it didn't quite work the way I wanted to. But what I was able to do is I was able to take that timer and put it on my second monitor and then just go to a full screen version of my second monitor and have it count down like that. But I'll have to work on it a little bit more. It does allow people to get into chat and talk for a couple of minutes before John Schubrick says, "I like the continual improvement philosophy Anthony applies to his channel." Yeah, it's kind of like this channel it improves very slowly, but it's always like slight improvements that just start coming quite slowly, and it gets a little bit better and a little bit better. Need to make sure that you're using the correct URL for it. I just copied the URL that it had there, but maybe I was using the wrong URL. I'll have to screw around with that a little bit more. I am enjoying a nice banana here. This way I will not get starving later, and my stomach will not start making all these noises and stuff, so just sec here. But yeah, maybe I was using, or maybe I had the URL messed up a little bit or something like that. Pre-consumed banana. Yeah, I've already been eating it a little bit while the timer was going down. So, yeah, Chebby says, polishing a shit show is not easy because you get shit all over your hands. Have you ever tried to polish shit? It just spreads it everywhere. It's really a disaster. Okay, so let's see here. I do actually have some stuff that I wanted to go into today, so let me go ahead. That timer kind of threw everything off. Now I have to get back into the mode of things. Okay, let's see. What kind of announcements did we have today? Well, first of all, why don't I go into a little Stardust VR trailer real quick. Let me throw this on the screen here. So this is Frozen Dreams, and I've talked about this one a couple of times. This game here, we don't have like a good trailer that like, I've got all kinds of videos today, guys, that are all these squared, weird formatted videos. And this is just one of many. And this is Stardust VR, and this is available right now. And my volume is a little bit high. It's weird because my volume in my headphones is way lower than the volume on the actual show. And so I'll like barely hear this music. And then when I'm watching the YouTube video later, the volume is way the heck louder. And it can really be all off track here. But this is Stardust VR. Now, why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing this up because I happen to see that it is currently available on Steam. So let's go ahead and switch over real quick to a web browser with small video window. Here it is, Stardust VR. This is being published by Frozen Dreams, and the developer is Last in Oni. This came out on October 11th, so this just came out yesterday. I just kind of forgot about it, didn't bring it up. and it is $7.64. It's 15% off. Normal price on this is $9. It's on a promotion until October 18th. There are no user reviews whatsoever. I probably should reach out to these guys, see if I can get a code, maybe screw around with this game for a couple of minutes. I don't know. It looks kind of colorful to me. And it's relatively cheap, but it is releasing at a time when we've just got so much stuff. So it is kind of crazy. Crunchy says, this looks like portrait videos on smartphones that so many people record. Yeah, you don't know the half of it, Crunchy, because let me tell you, I've got a lot of little videos that I want to show today that all have, a lot of them happen to be in these portrait kind of modes. For example, I can go to this clip. It's only like 12 seconds long, but there's a brand new clip. This is Blade and Sorcery, and this is only like 10 seconds. And it's not formatted right either. And it's over before you know it. All it is this guy pulls out a sword. He does some electrical capabilities on his right hand, and then he electrifies his sword. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. But this is Blade and Sorcery. I saw this on the Vive subreddit. Some people were talking about this. I'll make it full screen for just a sec here. But yeah, that's pretty much the extent of it right there. But this Blade and Sorcery game is getting a lot of hype. I don't know if anybody else has noticed like how much hype this game is getting. I'm pretty sure that this was the game, this Blade and Sorcery is the same game where there's like people getting chopped all over the place and it's really bloody. Yeah, let me go to my other video. Here is my other video on it. This is that one video. Do you guys remember where the guy takes like a battle axe or whatever and he puts it in between the thing and it's like the physics and all of that, and everybody was all excited about this? So here's another video of it. Even though these arms, look at the guy's arms. The guy's arms are like going really, really crazy there. It's like, come on, stabilize your arms a little bit. But this was the video where it kind of showed some nice physics interactions and some collision detection between like various swords and stuff. And so that little 10-12 second clip that we just saw, that little GIF basically, that is this game as well. And so this game's gotten a lot of publicity, which is short, you know, pub is short for publicity. And this was the money shot. That was the money shot right there that we were like, oh, wow, that's so awesome, man. A sword and a battle axe, and they can have a beautiful relationship together. So that is Blade and Sorcery. And that's where I got this little brand new clip, which is just this little short. See, here it is. It's very bloody. This is a one where like people get swords and daggers right to the head, extremely bloody. But this is another clip from that. This is this little 10-second clip, and they are talking about this. Pub is a place to get drinks. Well, here in America, you can say, man, that game isn't getting much pub at all, and that basically means it's short for publicity. That game is not getting much love, you know, like people aren't talking about it. It's getting no pub. It's kind of it's almost a little bit of a ghetto term, really, in terms of pub and stuff. So I'll use that a lot. But yeah, all you guys in the UK, you're going to think, hey, pub is a place to get drinks. But yeah, so this is Blade and Sorcery. I don't know, like, what is the ETA on this game? I haven't heard anything. It does look cool. It is competing, of course, with all the other RPG style games that we have out there. So it's a fierce field. And then you have stuff like Vanishing Realms and Carnage Chronicles and all this other stuff as well that's going on out there. So it makes it really difficult to make things happen. Okay, so the picture that I'm putting on the screen right now, this is VR cover. And VR cover basically, let's see, where is this? VR cover is coming out with Oculus Go covers now, finally. And so I saw this was on Upload VR, and I thought it's kind of interesting because I think the Oculus Go, it could have a nicer cover for it. And so this is the first of these covers. I believe this is $30. And T-Dub says, is Carnage Chronicles any good? On sale on the Oculus Store today? Dude, Carnage Chronicles is more than good. It is freaking outstanding. Carnage Chronicles is really, really, really good. If you like Vanishing Realms and you'd like some more Vanishing Realms, but maybe even a little bit better, Carnage Chronicles is pretty much the way you need to go. I was super impressed the last time I went into Carnage Chronicles. So yeah, it is good. But let's see here. So Oculus Go. Let me fix this up here. Sorry, I'm all discombobulated, and this is all Jim Hall's fault for doing that timer. It threw me off a little bit, but I will get this fixed pretty soon. Okay, so web browser with small video window. Oculus Go gets replacement facial interface with VR cover. Yes, they do have a cover. And how much is it? It's 29 bones with standard shipping at $7 or optional express shipping for 19 bucks. So this is the VR facial interface for Oculus Go. And here we are on VR covers on their actual website here. You can pre-order, estimated ship date October 31st. So coming in time for Halloween, hopefully, or at least it's going to ship then, 29 bucks. And then I guess you got to add shipping as well. So not exactly the cheapest thing in the world, but it could add considerable more comfort to the Oculus Go, which is kind of cool. So that's kind of cool. And then Andy Sky says, yeah, but there isn't a thin version for bigger FOV. And so that's true. I don't know how thick this is, and I'm not sure how much this is going to extend you away from it. One of the things about like the Oculus Go is I don't know that you can like really get in there and get even more FOV like you can do with the HTC Vive. Those of you out there that actually have the original HTC Vive, have you guys ever tried taking off the retail padding that comes on there and just sticking it up to your face and just seeing how much more you can get inside of there? Because I'm telling you guys, when I had my Vive, I was in a completely different world than a lot of people. I used an incredibly thin amount of foam. I took off the retail thing and it was just hard plastic. And I took just a tiny amount of foam. I mean, not even 6 millimeters. It was probably like 3 millimeters thickness, maybe not even that. And I put it on my HTC Vive and I was using this thing. It was unbelievably thin, but I got so much further up into the HTC Vive. And I swear to you, I got like another 10 degrees of field of view. And I think people are crazy that aren't doing it. Now, technically, it might not be super comfortable. So, for example, like I had this thing on my HTC Vive for the longest time. And whenever one of my kids wanted to try a VR game and they would put it on, my son would be like, Dad, this hurts. I need the other one. And so he wasn't able to deal with it. But man, I would get used to it so much more field of view. But with a lot of other VR headsets, it doesn't seem like you can really get in there too much. And JPay says, whoa, 3 millimeters makes for a thin face condom, Anthony. You're making babies in VR and you don't even realize it. Well, yeah, it was... I could tolerate it. I could play for like hours and stuff with it, but it wasn't super comfortable. And then Fluke says, Anthony, you have a wide IPD though, so you might benefit a lot more. I've got an average IPD, and the thinner interface just makes the edges of the display more noticeable. Yeah, there is a bit of distortion. Like you will see some stuff on the outer edges that you're probably not supposed to see. And I know when I've talked about this mod, you know, the foam mod for the original Vive, and other people have talked about it, and it's been on Reddit, and I forget who it was from Valve, but one of the guys from Valve chipped in and said, well, you know, you guys can do that, but there's a reason we have the distance the way it is, and the closer you get your eyes to it, you might have an increased amount of eye strain. You might notice some of the chromatic aberrations on the edges, you know, all these little weird things on the edges. You might notice that a bit more. But I felt like the trade-off was more than worth it. So anyway, this is the VR cover for Oculus Go. I thought it was kind of cool, so I did want to highlight that real quick. Okay, one of the things I wanted to get into today is dead and buried on the Oculus Go. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little dead and buried footage. This is a really loud thing, but we do have some video capture. This is dead and buried on the Oculus Go. It's been available for a long time. This isn't anything new. It isn't anything special. But here we go again. Here is another square view, a narrow field of view here. And that's the way the Oculus Go, like if you want to stream your Oculus Go to your PC and capture game footage, this is the way the game footage is captured. Hopefully with the Oculus Quest, it's a little bit different. Hopefully we can get widescreen, you know, with Oculus Quest when we're trying to beam it to a PC or whatever. But this is the way they do with Oculus Go. And one of the things I wanted to mention is I played Dead and Buried for the very first time yesterday on the Oculus Go. I've had it for a while, like VR Roundtable, we got like a key for this like a long time ago. Back when the Oculus Go came out, we got a whole bunch of keys for all kinds of different Oculus Go games. And so we loaded all these games on. And I always looked at it in my library and I was like, Dead and Buried, yeah, I've played Dead and Buried a million times. This is the Go version. It's probably super watered down, super crappy. And I just was never into it. I was never excited about it. And I finally turned it on and finally gave it a try. And I was quite impressed with this. Like graphically, visually, it looks very cartoony and it looks really quite good. I was pleasantly surprised by this. Now, the only thing I did is I got into like a single player shooter gallery, basically this, where you're going through waves of enemies and just shooting the zombies. But the bottom line here is I was impressed. I was impressed with the visuals, very cartoony and stuff, but it didn't seem like this gigantic step down. And I've also heard a lot of people talking about how Dead and Buried on the Oculus Go is one of their favorite Oculus Go games, period. They put it up there with Drop Dead. And I've said a million times that Drop Dead on the Oculus Go is very impressive. And this one was impressive as well. Now, one of the problems I had, though, is just your gun. You know, your gun is kind of free floating, and it was the same thing in Drop Dead. I really wish you could bring the gun up to your face, look at the gun, move it around, and really have that precise tracking. But that's 6 degrees of freedom. That's an example. We don't have 6 DOF on the Oculus Go. We don't have 6 DOF on the controller. And so your gun, they try to put it in they try to have it in a general area where it feels like you're kind of holding a gun. But one of the downsides is I can see myself putting the Oculus Go on a lot of people and giving them a chance to try something like this Dead and Buried shootout gallery, because it's very colorful, it's bright, it's cheerful, the audio's pretty good, it all works really good. But then they're going to have a bit of that disconnect where they're like, oh, well, there's the gun, but it's not moving exactly with my hand, blah, blah, blah. And Crunchy says that is what the Quest is going to bring, 6 DOF. And yeah, Dolph Lundgren will be in the house when we get the Oculus Quest. And I guess it's just something I never really considered in terms of the gun kind of moving around. But overall, quite impressed with Dead and Buried on the Oculus Go. And so, you know, another nice game to check out. Let's see what folks are talking about over here. Hussein X says, I have Carnage Chronicles and Gunheart in library. Bought last year, yet to play. Heard Gunheart has been improved a lot. Currently playing Robinson the Journey. It sounds like you got a lot of good stuff there, Hussein X. And you know what? Gunheart, it's funny you're mentioning Gunheart and Carnage Chronicles in the same sentence there, because both of those games seem almost like new games. With the updates that have continued to happen to those games, they almost seem brand new. and especially Gunheart as well. I remember the very first time I got in Gunheart, and then if you go into Gunheart now, it's almost like a completely reworked game in certain ways, especially the single player part of it. Like the single player part of it has been improved by leaps and bounds. They got voiceover. They kind of have like story and stuff that's built into it. It really is pretty freaking impressive how much Gunheart has been improved. And then, of course, what do you call it? Carnage Chronicles. You know, Carnage Chronicles has been improved by leaps and bounds as well. And it's kind of amazing. You normally don't expect that games are going to be improved by leaps and bounds. I mean, developers are always talking about it. They're always talking about how they're going to keep improving it and updating it. But a lot of times it's mostly lip service. But in those two cases, it's straight up legit. And Tekasura says, hey, I've been making my way up to the top 7 on the leaderboards. Almost there. My name is King_Greed. Watch out for me. I think he's talking about Dead and Buried on the Dead and Buried leaderboards. And you know what? I know that Chris of VR Roundtable fame, Chris really got into Dead and Buried on the go, really got into the multiplayer aspect and was always playing multiplayer with his buddies on that. I have not tried the multiplayer aspect yet, but I probably will try that out a little bit later today. And so definitely impressed by that. Hussein X says, I hope Quest version of Dead and Buried gets multiplayer horde mode. I loved the horde mode. It's weird because I never really got into Dead and Buried on the Oculus Rift. I just never got into it. And that's made by Gunfire Games in collaboration with Oculus Studios. And, you know, probably a pretty good game there. But I don't know. For some reason, I just never really got into it. I watched Dolph Lundgren being interviewed in the documentary on Netflix called Power of Grayskull. That is crunchy. Yeah, we mentioned Dolph Lundgren because, you know, 6 degrees of freedom, right? And the Brex Terra says, I tried Coaster Combat the other day. It actually looks good on the go. Wish it had more courses than 4. Aren't there some more that you can buy and download and you pay a little bit extra? Or is it they have like 2 that kind of give you free trials and then the other ones are locked? But yeah, Coaster Combat, the thing that most impresses me with the Go is you can try a number of different Go games. And what it is you're kind of like looking around at things and you're like, wow, this is actually halfway decent. Like you really think it's going to be Nintendo 3DS or something. You really think it's going to be really lackluster. And that's the thing about some of these Oculus Go games. They can be surprising. For example, Ultra Wings is pretty damn good on the Oculus Go. And if you're not paying super close attention, it doesn't look that much different than the PlayStation VR version. And so, yeah, we're kind of celebrating the fact that it doesn't look that bad. You know, we're not celebrating the fact that it looks really, really good. We're celebrating that it doesn't look that bad. But that's kind of where it is, really, the Oculus Go. I mean, you can grab one for $200. It's a great thing to take on the go, of course. That's why they called it a great name for the Go. That's why Oculus was kind of screwed with the Quest, because they already used up a really great name in the Go. Now, Tom Lloyd says, Call of Duty Zombies multiplayer on Quest would be the shiznit. That would be some Stone Age shiznit. Scary in VR is too much because of playing alone. We've discussed this before, but I bet your audience would agree. COD Zombies Quest would be good. Yeah, you know, it's funny. Just the other day, I was thinking about Magic Leap. And, and not to derail the entire show and go down the Magic Leap road, but I was thinking, like, this is something that you could ponder. Magic Leap has this huge war chest of money. Imagine if you were like the CEO of Magic Leap and you had to decide what kind of app, what kind of game studio could I throw millions upon millions upon millions of dollars at so they can make an experience. Kev Grass says, here we go. So they can make an experience that will really tempt people to go down that road. And I was thinking, man, what could Magic Leap do? Like, could they give Rockstar $1 billion? You know, could they take one of their $7 billion and give it to Rockstar and say, look, Rockstar, do something, make some type of Grand Theft Auto that can take place on a tabletop or something. I mean, what can they do? Like, who do they go after? Could they go to Electronic Arts and say, Electronic Arts, make a Madden that takes place on a tabletop? And the reason I'm bringing this up is because, like, Call of Duty Zombies, could they go to Infinity Ward? You know, and this is something that maybe Oculus and Vive and all these other companies are thinking. It's like, what game? I am Rhett says, here we go. Anthony somehow figures out a way to squeeze Magic Leap onto the show. Well, no, I was just thinking about like what would really tempt people to your platform? What do you have to do? And it was like during that Magic Leap press conference, they had a guy from Epic Games. They had a guy from Epic Games, and Fortnite was on the board there for a second there. And I was like, oh, are they going to somehow get Fortnite on Magic Leap? I have no idea how the hell that would work, but are they going to get Fortnite on Magic Leap? But no, that didn't happen. And Tom Lloyd says, whenever Anthony says Magic Leap, he gets $1,000. Dude, I would be a freaking billionaire. I'd be up there with Jeff Bezos at this point if that was a situation. That would be more like I get 1/1000th of a 1,000th of a penny. Even then, I'd probably be pretty rich at this point. Kev Gret says Magic Leap pays Anthony $20 per show to mention them. I wish. I absolutely wish. Chevy says, I like the name Quest, and I can't remember being young. LOL. Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about there, but yeah, no, I absolutely. Crunchy says, I think the name Quest works to describe the product. Well, if we go down the name road, I said it on the VR Roundtable episode that one of the things about names is sometimes you're going to get a name that like GameCube or Dreamcast. We've had a lot of names in the past. Nintendo Wii. Do you remember how many months people were complaining about the name Wii and they thought it was the dumbest thing ever? And they're like, Wii, think of all the P jokes and all of that. And then you got Wii U. You know, there's a lot of dumb names. And there's not always going to be good names out there. And so Quest is the kind of name, first of all, it's a single syllable. You know, Quest, bam. Everybody wants something that is just one syllable and it's short. Like rage, you know, fire, rise. You know, everybody wants these one syllable names that are just bang, bang, bang. And Quest does work in that category, but like all the really good names are taken. In fact, it's kind of funny. You know that game Blade and Sorcery that we were talking about earlier? I was actually surprised. I was like, Blade and Sorcery? How is that available? How is the combination of Blade and Sorcery available? Because that's actually a pretty decent name. And you think so many freaking names have already been used. So many names have been grabbed that there just isn't a lot of good names left. But Blade and Sorcery is a pretty good name. Okay, so anyway, I have some other things I did want to show. Getting a little bit distracted here. I still blame it on Jim Hall. I blame it on Jim Hall, and I blame it on his timer coming in and screwing everything up. Okay, so I did have a number of other videos. I told you today is the Square video day. This is the 4/3 video day. And here's a trailer for Poly something. Let me go ahead and pump this up a little bit. Let's check this out for a second, because this is currently available. Okay, so that is called Lollipang VR. And let me turn this down. It's kind of loud. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because this is a game that came out yesterday. Lollipang VR. It came out yesterday. And I just wanted to kind of report on some of the games that have been coming out recently. And so if I go ahead and bounce over to my little web browser here. Yeah, this is the Steam page. Lollipang. It is developed by WiseCat. And it did come out yesterday. There are no user reviews yet. The price is $20, but it is on a discount. You can pick it up for just under $15. This special promotion ends on October 18th. This is Lollipang. Let me click on Wisecat. Yeah, they have a number of other games. Wisecat. They have Everyday Baseball VR. They have Everyday Golf VR. And that's pretty much it. And Lollipang is another one. And then Battle of the Red Cliffs VR. And so, yeah, this just came out yesterday. Lollipang. Don't know anything about it, but was checking out some of the new games that are out there. And that is by developer Wisecat. But yeah, we do have a number of these square video windows. Of course, I'm going to move this back over. Well, no, actually, I got another square video to play, so I guess I'll leave it right here. But I just wanted to cover, do you know the Muffin Man? Yeah, that's what I kind of thought of, too. I thought of Shrek a little bit when I first saw that. Lollipang. Not to be confused with that Chris Rock movie from way back in the days. So let's see here. I know I had another square type of trailer that I wanted to throw on here and mention something. Oh, okay, emuVR. Have you guys heard of emuVR? This is actually kind of like legitimately cool how you can literally pick up PlayStation 1 games, put them into the PlayStation, you turn on the power button, and the cords, like it actually has cords. This is like really kind of sweet, and this is in the news here. You can actually plug the cords into different spots. You plug the cartridges in there. This is emuVR. It shows a little video thing, and I believe this is in the news for some reason. I think it's like coming out of, or it's like in early access or something. What was it about emuVR? I know I saw it somewhere. Let's see here where the news story was on it. If I could find it. Okay, yeah, emuVR beta has officially gone live. Okay, so this is on the Oculus Rift subreddit. If I go over here, you can see right here, where is it? Right here, emuVR beta has officially gone live. And so I went ahead and grabbed just a random video from their YouTube channel. And I saw this, you know, putting the actual game disc in, turning your TV on, the blue screen with the little video. And you know, the one thing that VR can do really well is it can show old school TV monitors and make them look highly realistic. It really does look good. This is why look at the sunlight coming in the window and going through the blinds on the window and the shadows over there on the wall by that Doom poster and the Return of the Jedi poster and all that. See those shadows over there? That is freaking impressive. I like that. I got to play this. I got to screw around with this. Being a guy that was a retro gamer, and it's like, look, you can switch the cables. You move this cable over there. Now you got a PlayStation game over there. You got the Nintendo 64 over there. That is really quite clever. This is absolutely clever. That is, man, much love to these guys right here. And look at the shadows over there on that wall coming through the blinds. The sun. I have a thing for sunlight in VR. Pretty realistic soda can over there as well. So emuVR is now left. The emuVR beta has officially gone live. I'm going to have to check this out. I'm going to have to jump through the hoops to get this thing up and running and figure it out, because that looks pretty freaking sweet, especially being an old school retro gamer from back in the days. Of course, I play all my systems. I never played my systems on crappy ass TVs with composite cables. No, I used RGB, baby. I got a really nice Sony RGB monitor that's sitting right here next to me. When I was really into retro, I got this thing for about $300, but it was brand new. And oh my God, it's like the best display you could ever have for like old Super Nintendo or any of that type of stuff. Yeah, look at that Coke can. Pretty good model of the Coke can. Diddy Kong Racing, overrated. But let's see here. What else can I get to? So yeah, I had a number of these square videos. That's why I was telling you I got a lot of square videos. Okay, so one other thing we can mention real quick is we do have a date for a game. Now I'm going to have to fix this. Okay, so this is Megalith for PlayStation VR. And we have some unfortunate news. The unfortunate news is this game is not going to make 2018. This game has been delayed till 2019. But here's the good news, January 8th. So apparently this is coming out on January 8th for PlayStation VR. But not only that, starting on November 13th, there is going to be a free trial version on the PlayStation Store along with a discounted pre-order deal. So on November 13th, we're going to get some kind of demo for Megalith on PSN, and then this is going to be available January 8th. Now, this is a MOBA for PlayStation VR by Disruptive Games, and it got some pretty good reviews. Like, I think this was at E3, and a lot of people played this in E3 and really liked it. And so this game was getting a lot of love. In fact, I think this is ranked like 8th or something on my... this is ranked like 8th on the PlayStation VR Most Wanted list. And Andy Sky says it's on Steam. Megalith? Yeah, I know it's coming to other platforms as well, but I know it's kind of a timed exclusive, I believe, on PlayStation. Let me see. Megalith Steam. Is it on Steam? It just has Steam Community Megalith. I don't know that that's... Yeah, I'm not seeing that really on Steam. But I believe this is going to be coming to other platforms eventually. But it is a little bit of a timed exclusive there, Megalith. So we did get January 8th date for that. And that is pretty much the extent of what I have in terms of stories that I have already lined up previously. But of course, what we can do is we can check out Upload VR, we could check out Road to VR, we can check out the various subreddits, and I can, of course, check out what is going on in chat and see what people are talking about over there as well. Okay, and so let's go ahead and check out Upload VR real quick for a second here. And so going over to Upload VR, David Jaffe, the God of War guy in Twisted Metal, wants to make a VR horror game. But David, don't you know that there's like literally millions of VR horror games? We need another VR... In fact, I was just going to say we need another VR horror game like we need another wave shooter. But honestly, there may be more VR horror games than there are wave shooters. There literally could be more. And then Upload VR has the 30 best must-download Oculus Go games and apps, which is a list I probably do want to check out. Zero Caliber Livestream, realistic co-op military shooter. You know, this game... Oh, wait, no, Zero Caliber. I keep getting this mixed up with Zero Killed. Because Zero Killed already came out, and nobody seems to care about that game. And Zero Caliber, I believe, is coming early in November. And then, of course, we had the VR cover thing. We've already heard about that. So David Jaffe wants to make a horror game, get in line with the rest of us. I mean, everybody and their mama is coming out with a horror game. We're kind of overdone with VR horror. We got more VR horror than we could ever need. It is just a little bit redonkulous. Let's go ahead and see what Road to VR has going on over on their page. Okay, so let's go over here. So Road to VR says Media Molecules Dreams has been confirmed to support PSVR at launch. I think we've heard of this already. Like, we already knew that it was coming at launch. That was revealed like a week or two ago, I believe. What we really want to know is when the hell is this game coming out? And I know that at one point, Media Molecule was saying that it could still come out in 2018, but I think the train has left the station on that. And see right here, if you look at Road to VR, it says, although still scheduled for release in 2018, the official launch date is still to be announced. And honestly, I feel like if this was coming in 2018, we would already have a date right now. So I don't think that is coming in 2018. I think Dreams is probably like a late January, February game, something like that, in that kind of range. And then, let's see. And then another story that Road to VR has over here is they have Astrobot has been ranked 6th best PlayStation 4 game of 2018 and the #1 PSVR game of all time, not by VR game rankings, but basically by Metacritic. By going through all the Metacritic rankings, it has risen to be the #1 rated PSVR game of all time, according to Metacritic. And it also ends up as the 6th best PS4 game of the year 2018. And we've got heavy hitters, man. God of War, Spider-Man. We've already got some heavy hitters. So Fluke, that's for you, bro. That is for Fluke, who's not the hugest fan of Astrobot, not super duper impressed by Astrobot. And Kevgret says Dreams and Beat Saber will both by late January. Book it. Dude, if Beat Saber... Okay, here's my prediction with Beat Saber. Today is October 12th. I have a prediction for Beat Saber, guys. Today is October 12th. Tomorrow, on Saturday, is October 13th. And what is October 13th? October 13th is the 2-year anniversary of PlayStation VR. And I have a feeling on tomorrow, this is my Nostradamus Jr. prediction, I have a feeling, no Beat Saber by holidays. No, I have a feeling that tomorrow, on the 2-year anniversary of PlayStation VR, there's going to be a handful of minor PSVR announcements, one of which is going to be the release date for Beat Saber. And I think it's going to be a November release. I could look at the November calendar and try to give you an exact prediction. We know there's going to be a physical version of Beat Saber, and the physical version is going to have to come day and date with the PSN version as well. And the thing about a physical version is it does delay things a little bit, you know, because they gotta press the disc and do all of that. And so that's my prediction, though. Tomorrow, Sony will announce the official release date for Beat Saber PlayStation VR. There will be a couple of other minor announcements tomorrow. Maybe the release date for Blood and Truth. We might get a release date for that. So I'm kind of thinking we'll get a couple of minor announcements tomorrow on the exact 2-year anniversary, but maybe not. Maybe tomorrow will come and go and there won't be diddly. And Fluke says Wipeout is still his favorite PlayStation VR game, and it's not even close. Although I added that last little bit right there in the end. Okay, let's see. Anything else that I wanted to show? No, that pretty much covers all the trailers and little news stories that I had. So let me just throw on a rando trailer here. How about AD 2047, which is a game that is coming? Nah, never mind. Never mind. Let me switch up a different one. That was the old trailer. Here is the new trailer. Okay, yeah, AD 2047. This looks pretty cool. This is also coming to PCVR eventually as well. Okay, so yeah, not much to talk about today. Kind of light on the news stories. Let's see. What we could do is we could bounce over to the Vive. We could bounce over to the Vive subreddit. Yeah, Phil Yarn, he missed the emu thing. What's that? So what that is, it's actually on the Oculus subreddit. And emuVR, emulator VR, the beta has officially gone live. Let me see what they're saying over here. I believe you have to pay some money for this. We can go to their webpage. Here, I'll switch over to their webpage right here. This is emuVR beta. The beta is live. Please be aware that this version is still very rough around the edges and it's still in development. Some features are still being worked on and will be integrated further down the road. But now you can play while we keep fixing bugs and improve it together. So, how do you participate in the beta? How do you download it? Send an email to beta@emuvr.net and you'll receive an invite to their emuVR beta Discord community within a few hours. There you'll be able to download the latest build, learn how to play, and be a part of the community. So basically that's all you got to do. Shoot an email over there and you'll get an invite to their Discord. You could pop in there and see how to do everything. So that is kind of cool. I would like to check that out because that is kind of sweet. Although I got to admit, when it comes to all of these kinds of emulator type things, typically what happens, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are kind of the same way, is typically what happens is you'll get it up and running, you'll put like Sonic the Hedgehog in there, and you'll put Super Mario World in there, and maybe Super Metroid. You know, you'll throw in a couple of different games that are very familiar to you, and you'll get these like nostalgic feelings for about 15, 25 minutes, and then you'll never return to it again. I mean, am I right? Am I right, folks? Because that's kind of like new retro arcade neon. Really cool idea. Again, a lot of people that probably got new retro arcade neon, they're walking around this arcade, they got asteroids, defenders, all these different things. You play it for a while, it seems so incredibly cool, and then you never touch the damn thing again, which does seem to be the case. And see, part of the problem for me, I'm a legitimate retro gamer. Like, I was really into retro gaming before I got into VR. I got tired of modern gaming. I just got bored of modern gaming, quit modern gaming. I went retro, and then I discovered VR was coming, and I thought, well, maybe VR will get me back into modern gaming. And it did, at least for VR as far as that's concerned. But one of my problems with all this retro stuff is I still feel like when you wear a headset, it doesn't feel super comfortable, and you still get eye strain and all of that. So we're not yet at the point where you could put a headset on and you could play Super Mario World for 2 hours pretending that you're in a living room from 1992 or something like that, you know, and you have posters all over the wall, and you have like a TV over there that's playing like Family Ties or some shit, you know, and you're in this 1992 world, and it's really cool, and you're playing Super Mario World, and you got your freaking Capri Sun sitting on the table there and all of that. And your new Coke, you know, or Coke, whatever, the cherry Coke or clear Coke or whatever, you know, having all this stuff around you and playing an emulator, that would be fun. And could you do that for a couple hours? I can't do that because there's something about wearing a headset for too long. You're paying a price. Like, I feel when you're wearing your VR headset, you're paying a price. And for me, the price is too expensive for retro gaming. It's too expensive. It's not too expensive for being in something incredibly powerful and immersive like Primordian or like Transference or like Windlands 2 or any of these primetime VR games that we get into where, you know, it's got all these visuals and sound and Astrobot and all the sound effects and everything. I don't think the price is too high. But for me, just sitting around and playing like Kid Chameleon for an hour in an emulator inside a VR headset, eventually that will happen. It will happen eventually once we have headsets that are super lightweight and the frame rate is like 200 hertz or whatever, and there's no eye strain whatsoever. There's no screen door. Everything is crystal clear. And maybe we could spend 7-8 hours in VR. I can't do that right now. I know there's some crazy people out there that do that, but I cannot do that. So let me go ahead and check out what's going on in chat here. Fluke says, I played through ActRaiser on an emulator on the DK2, but yeah, with new Retro Arcade, I just couldn't be bothered to set it up as I would have liked it. Yeah, I wish there was some kind of file you could download that would just patch new Retro Arcade Neon to have everything in it without doing a lot of work. But I screwed around with it. I had the demo for it, and I was trying to patch it to get Asteroids and Donkey Kong and all that shit on the right arcade machines, and I never quite figured it out, and I just gave up on it. Phil Urn says, I have a shit ton of emulators. Once I finished ZBOTW on Cemu, I haven't played none of my emulators. And let's see, Chris says, you're doing something wrong, Anthony. I never get eye strain in the Vive. You're lying, bro. You're lying to yourself. These headsets give eye strain, period. Now, you might be able to deal with the eye strain, and maybe it just doesn't bother you, but no, all the headsets that we have now, they have a price. There's a price for wearing these headsets. The price is not zero. There is a cost. Even like Oculus Go, whatever, you take it off, you got these outlines that are on your face, and people are like, oh, you're wearing it too tight, you're wearing it too tight. Okay, if I make it too loose, then it's like flipping around. We're paying a price, folks. And then JPay says, I just got Asteroids, Lunar Lander, Centipede, Missile Command in my Tesla Performance Model 3 today from an over-the-air update. Now, you are definitely living in the future. So, Jay, can you drive at like 90 miles an hour down the freeway, put it into automatic mode, and you can play Asteroids at the same time while you're on the freeway? That would be super cool, although super dangerous, possibly. Phil Yarn says Transference has the best VR graphics, hands down, for me. Well, you know what Transference does? I mean, I agree in certain ways, Phil Yarn. I love Transference. And I feel like Transference isn't, going back to the word pub, Transference is not getting enough pub, not enough publicity. Like, lots of people aren't talking about Transference. Transference kind of came out and got swept under the rug, which is a true tragedy, because that game is freaking powerful. And I think it's the whole horror thing and the fact that it's so short. It's $25. A lot of people decided to pass on it. But Transference does have some damn good graphics in certain moments, especially when they're mixing like the real life human characters that they put into the world, and they're kind of digitally created, and they're like, they're like moving around kind of weird style, and it's kind of flickering and everything is going in and out. Transference did a great job. Really love that. And Chris says, nope, I can play for over 10 hours without eye strain. Again, Chris, I'm not denying that you've lied to yourself and convinced yourself that you can do it, and so you can. But there's eye strain for everybody. Unless you're from another planet, I believe there's eye strain for everybody. You're just not affected by it as much as some of the rest of us are, in my opinion. Tezram says, I can use a Vive for 2 hours plus, no problem. All I need is a game worth the time. We can do it. We can definitely do it, but I still feel like there's a cost. But those of you that say there's no cost, it's perfectly fine. I could do 10 hours of a job inside VR. I don't buy it, but if you guys really want to go with that, that's okay. You can go with that. Chevy says, I agree, Anthony. For me, VR is mainly about immersion. Gaming is secondary to me. I want to explore a realistic new environment. Don't hate me. Dude, I'm not hating you, and I kind of agree. Like, I do want to get to the place. I want to get to the place where I could potentially wear a headset for hours on end, and you could put screens everywhere, and you could do all kinds of, and like mixed reality and all that. When we have pass-through cameras, VR is going to have some pretty good like mixed reality and all that stuff. And there will be a day when we can just spend all day long in our VR headsets, but that day is not today, not in my opinion. And then let's see here. What else do we got? Well, Chris says, when you get your new GPU and you can super sample, your eye strain will go away. Well, maybe I will try that. Oh, Andy Sky says, try Great Sea. The Great Sea. It's the first VR movie. Andy, have you played The Invisible Hours? The Invisible Hours is the first VR movie. The Great Sea is another example of a VR movie, but I think The Invisible Hours is more of the first VR movie than The Great Sea. Although I'm impressed with The Great Sea. The Great Sea is really cool. I think it's worth it. I think it's worth the $6 or whatever they're charging, and I think it's pretty cool. And I Am Rhett says, it's totally free, Anthony. No cost. And I guess he's talking about the headset thing. No, I'm talking about there's a cost of comfort. There's a cost of getting kind of hot and sweaty. There's a cost of eye strain. There's a cost. There is a cost. Eventually there won't be, but there is a cost. Phil Yarn says, I lost like 2 hours in Robinson's Journey last night. Great game. Yeah, Robinson Journey is cool. Hussein X is playing that right now as we speak. And Kev Gretz says, Invisible Hours. Talk about underrated. Absolutely incredibly underrated. Andy Sky says, oh, okay. Okay, he easily gives up his point about the Great Sea. Let's see, do I have an Invisible Hours trailer? I probably do. It's funny, every time I say, do I have this trailer? Do I have that trailer? I never have it. I don't know why that is. And guess what? HIJK, where are you? Man, I can't believe no Invisible Hours trailer. I thought for sure I did. I have this one folder where I have like tons of trailers, just trailers galore. And I feel like I have like every trailer known to man. in this one folder, but apparently not. Okay, wait, no, I do have an Invisible Hours trailer. It was just in a completely different window. But yeah, Invisible Hours. How much is Invisible Hours right now anyway? Let me go look it up. Because I felt like Tequila Works and Game Trust, I felt like they kind of made a mistake in marketing it as a video game. I know they kind of had to market it as a video game because they're selling it for so much. Like, I'm looking at Invisible Hours right now on Steam. Very positive, 138 reviews, but it is $30. It's $30. And there's no interactivity. Invisible Hours has no interactivity. Okay, Kev Gretz says it's $11 on sale on PlayStation. Well, PlayStation is doing that big sale right now, so that would be the place to get it. Invisible Hours, PlayStation. Yeah, you can also get the physical version from GameStop because Tequila, like Game Trust, the publisher, like they're part of GameStop and they actually have physical versions of the Invisible Hours. And if you're willing to buy like a used version of the Invisible Hours, yeah. So I'm looking at the Invisible Hours on PlayStation. I'll switch over here real quick. It's basically $21, but if you have PlayStation Plus, you get another 30% off of that. So I guess that drops it down to around 11 or so, or 12, 13 bucks or whatever. But yeah, Invisible Hours is out there. And Kev Gret, he did get a physical copy from GameStop because I was just looking this up and when I did a Google search, it showed GameStop. And let me see if it shows like pre-owned. Okay, so here we go. Let's go check this out. Pre-owned VR games, guys. You can get the Invisible Hours pre-owned for $15. An actual physical version. You could pop it into your PSVR, and then when you're done watching it like 3 or 4 times, you can go ahead and sell it off to the next guy. Certainly developers don't really like doing that, but it's something we called ownership. It's this weird, strange thing that we used to have back in the days. A lot of millennials don't know about it. Okay, let me go back to chat, see what people are saying here. Yeah, Great Sea is only $5.99, so it's $6. Andy, how long do you think that is? I would say somewhere around like 45-ish minutes, I would say. Somewhere around that. And Phil Yearn says, P.S. Seeking Dawn is good. I enjoyed Seeking Dawn. I was having fun in Seeking Dawn, and then I got an avalanche of games poured on me, and I never returned to it. But I've got probably 20 or 30 games that fit in that exact category where I was playing it, I was having a good time with it. I know Paradise Decay, like if he was here, I don't think he's in our chat today, but if Paradise was here, he would say Seeking Dawn gets very monotonous after a while. Like it kind of becomes a rinse and repeat kind of thing the longer you're in it. But I was enjoying it when I was playing it. But you know what? Seeking Dawn, actually, that's a good idea. That's one of these games I'll probably have to revisit when I get my new graphics card. I have a new graphics card that is coming. I'm hoping it will arrive maybe today, and I can install it later today. And I was trying to think to myself, what game should I try with a new good graphics card? And Seeking Dawn, I do remember that when I was playing Seeking Dawn, I got a lot of dropped frames. I got a lot of issues. Like there was a lot of jankiness with Seeking Dawn when I was trying to play it. So that's one of the games I think that might play a lot better when I get this new graphics card in there. And I was trying to think of what other games I'm going to want to play with a new graphics card. And you know what game I am going to want to play? Cyberpunk VR. Cyberpunk VR. Let me look up Cyberpunk VR. Dude, I think Cyberpunk VR is one of the most underrated VR games in existence. Cyberpunk VR. I'm going to look it up on Steam, see how much it's going for. So it's going for $9. Cyberpunk VR, guys. Has anybody ever played this? This is Cyberpunk VR right here. It's by Colopal. Very positive. The reviews are very positive. 91 reviews. This came out way back on April 28th, 2016. This has been around since the dawn of time, guys. And I just feel this is a fun game. It's a fun game for me. You got these balls that are bouncing at you and you're going like, it's a pretty good exercise game too. I think this is a pretty decent exercise game. You're bending over, you're moving all around. It can get you quite a bit sweaty. In fact, I think I have an old video on like VR Roundtable, like a Let's Play where I was playing it and getting sweaty and stuff. But Cyberpunk VR is one of these games, and MainFan says I couldn't get it working on my Rift. And I did try it on the Rift, and it was kind of crappy on the Rift. But this is one of those games where constant dropped frames, constant reprojection when I was playing it. And so I'm kind of curious with my new video card, can I play this and will it just be butter smooth? Because I think I would notice immediately the improvement a new video card would make when if I try Cyberpunk VR with a new video card. But let's see here. Oops, I don't want to change that. So what I did, I just want to put on a different trailer because we've been running this Invisible Hours trailer for forever and a day. Let's put on the Coaster Combat trailer. We were talking about that earlier. Staffen Anderson says, what card are you getting, Anthony? I am getting a 1080 Ti. Yes, a 1080 Ti, baby. I'm going from a 970 to a 1080 Ti. Now, I'm slightly worried. I'll be honest with you. I'm slightly worried about it fitting into my thing, fitting into my case with all these wires that are running everywhere. The other worry I have is, do I have enough connectors for the power plugs? So has anybody upgraded from a 970 to a 1080 Ti? Do you guys remember how many different little power things you need to connect to it, like in your motherboard? So I'm slightly worried about like connecting it and figuring that out, but I will figure it out one way or another. And if I don't have enough connectors, there's actually this little PC there's a little PC shop that is down the road, and I might just drive my freaking PC tower over there. I Am Rhett says should be a similar size, but what I'm wondering is like the power plugs. Does it need more power plugs than the 970? I might need to get some little adapters and stuff. But yeah, man, I am super excited because you know what? I want to try LA Noire, the VR case files. I was never able to play that. That shit never worked right. And then, what else? LA Noire, the VR case files, and Doom VFR. I've never really, well, I tried to play Doom VFR a couple of times, but I never really could play that very well. I actually survived pretty well with Fallout 4 VR and Skyrim. Those actually played pretty decently. So I don't know about, I mean, I'm sure maybe those will look a little bit better. So it's, yeah, 2 8-pin cables. I'm pretty sure I have 2 8-pin cables in there already. I think my 970 is using 2 of those little 8-pin connectors, or maybe 6-pin and 8-pin. So I'm hoping I can just kind of swap these cards and it won't be all that complicated. And I have done no super sampling. Do you guys know I have never super sampled anything ever, because I just didn't even want to bother with it because I just figured it wasn't worth my time. So I'm like super excited about that, and it should be coming really honestly any minute. Yesterday when I was waiting for US Postal Service, the guy that's sending me this card, he shipped it US Postal Service, gave me the tracking number and all of that, and it said that it was coming yesterday. It was coming on Thursday before 8 p.m. and I kept waiting and waiting and waiting, and it never came yesterday. So it's got to come today. So I'm hoping for that card today. Looking forward to it. It is going to be super awesome. Absolutely looking forward to it. Okay, so anyway, we've been going for over an hour now. I was just going to see if there was any last-minute news stories that have popped up anywhere, but I should probably get out of here because I am starting to be starving. That banana did its job for a little while, but I need some lunch at this point. So you know what? I'm going to bounce over to the Oculus Rift subreddit really quick because Seeking Dawn is on sale right now. I guess this is the first time it's ever been on sale. It's dropped from $40 to $30. Is it worth it? Have all bugs and annoyances been fixed? Let's see what people are saying in the comments. Looks like it's only on sale on the Oculus Store, not Steam. And not a lot of people are replying. I don't know. Honestly, I'd say at 30 bones, that's still quite expensive when we consider all the other stuff that is going on. And look what happened to this guy's Oculus Touch controller. Bam. I wonder what he was playing, Gorn or some shit, you know, and smack that up against something and jacked it up. That's definitely something that none of us want to have happen to us. Although, you know what I did, and I think this is a great idea for a lot of people, is when I decided to get another sensor, another USB sensor, I went ahead and just bought an Oculus Touch package that had 2 controllers and a sensor, because I thought, why not? Because it was like $98 or whatever, and a sensor it's only $30 more, and you get 2 more touch controllers. And I just figured, might as well get 2 more touch controllers. If something happens to one of my touch controllers, I'm already made in the shade. I got 2 of them that are just kicking it there. So I went ahead and got those extra controllers. I guess they don't do that anymore, is what I Am Rutz is saying. But anyway, guys, I'm starting to get starving here. I'm going to check out. Hopefully my 1080 Ti will be here any minute now, and I'll be able to pop that baby in, and I'll be able to get some Cybermorph going, and I'll try some other stuff as well. That's going to be really fun. I am looking forward to that, to be sure. It's probably going to be really loud, though. I have a feeling that this 1080 Ti is going to increase the volume, and it's going to be kind of like a buzzsaw going off in here. But we'll have to see what happens, because it's just a regular Founders Edition. That CPU, though, yeah, my 2500K is going to be holding shit back for a minute. I do need to do an entirely complete rebuild from scratch, a new PC case, motherboard, CPU, brand new memory, an SSD. Yes, somebody at the very start when we were doing the countdown timer says Anthony needs an SSD. Absolutely, I need to do all of that, and I plan on doing that in the not too distant future. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching today. We will be back. Tomorrow is 12 noon. Tomorrow is 12 noon. Check out the website if you get a chance. Be sure to subscribe to the show. Go ahead and like this video. Like right now, go ahead and like this video. Let's keep the like train going. And I will be back tomorrow at noon. I will see you guys then. Have a good one. We'll see ya later.